The red lights go out and the race gets underway then, and it's the BMW M liveried machine of Highcock who's got a good one. He's got away. Priestwood immediately goes up the inside of Peter Keane to go second. Similar things going on behind as Anthony Seddon goes up the inside of Ethan Hall for P4. And Priestwood and Keane still going at it then for second spot. They're wheel to wheel, they're mirror to mirror. Don't really want to lose one of your door mirrors at this stage of the race, but they may well do that if they get any closer. They're three abreast in places behind, but Priestwood has got second. We've got through Paddock, and I think we've got through Druids too, Marcus.
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it? And this is really busy in there. And of course, so they jostle and jink, and one or two of them flick out of a slipstream another car. They're three abreast there down the order. And then they squeeze. Oh, there's a touch there, and they all got away with it. But it looked pretty heart in mouth at the time.
So, first lap about to be completed. The field still going through clearways as the leaders pop across the line with Matthew Highcock 8 tenths ahead of Mac Priestwood, who made that good start. Peter Keane in third, Anthony Seddon fourth, Ethan Hall in fifth, James Waring in sixth, and there's BMWs all the way down the Brabham Straight. Absolutely fantastic grid this. Battling in the pack. 41, Matt Allen didn't make the best of starts, the 41-year-old from Warwickshire. He is side by side with the 10 of Lewis White and Turner. On the inside line is Allen, and he's ahead of the Drury Lane machine. Quite an experienced driver, Matt Allen. He's raced Legends, MR2s, MX5s, Hyundais too. And he was here yesterday supporting his partner, Ursula Jordan, in the Type R Trophy. Now it's on the other foot. He's the driver, and Ursula will be down in the pit lane watching on. But he's involved in a great scrap at the moment through Clearways and Clark Curve. There's White and Turner involved in this. Also the 34 car, Toby O'Reilly, is involved too. But it's Matt Allen at the front of this group for 8th spot this battle is for. 252 is in there. That's James Dunn. So yeah, that's quite a battle just to be inside the top 10 at this stage. 86 is in this scrap. Pete Brand. Oh, and there's contact. 34 has been given a touch. Toby O'Reilly went for a slide. 86 then trying to come through in all that. Pete Brand. 252 is James Dunn. So those first couple of laps were pretty tight. Of course, the car's full of fuel at this stage, Marcus.
Yeah, so they're heavy, and they won't be quite as nimble as they will be towards the end of their sessions, but still battling all the way down the order. You can't afford to lose even 2 or 3 seconds in this kind of company when you've got drivers of the caliber of Highcock and Priestwood and Keane out front. Because they're going to be relentless in their pace, and they're going to be super consistent as well, which is very important over the length of a 90-minute race.
Yeah, they were the three of the quickest drivers yesterday in the Sprint Championship too. There was a contact here a lap ago, I think, between these two.
Yeah, 7 and 86 there, having the touch.
I think 34 is O'Reilly in the other Seddon car, so Anthony Seddon run car.
Right.
Driven by Toby O'Reilly, and 86 Peter Brand. So I think the first names on the timing screens, if you're on TSL or if you're looking at our graphics, they are the start drivers. So a big thanks to TSL for being able to do that, which helps out.
Ethan Hall there in that classic effects car, classic effects mint machine. Different liveries either side, under pressure from the Hoplop car, Hopcroft Lopez.
Yeah, they're side by side at this stage for 6th spot. The 18-year-old Ethan Hall was on the inside. He's a student from Surrey in his 2nd season. And they're still side by side as they come uphill towards the hairpin at Druids. Hopcroft Lopez, who went well yesterday. Side by side behind as well, Marcus?
Somebody on the back of the shot was out over the curbs, running 2 wheels in the gravel, which was quite exciting. Hopcroft Lopez has got past Ethan Hall at Graham Hill Bend. But important not to panic, just tuck in, find your rhythm. And ahead of them is the Waring and Street car.
Yeah, James Waring starting that, another teenager. in the ex-Sandro Ballesteros car. Lead gap, by the way, 7 tenths between Highcock and Priestwood. Priestwood's been eking that gap down, I think, from 8 tenths. But not there's 3 thousandths between their laps there. Highcock faster, 1 minute, 0.444, 60.4 seconds. Only 3 thousandths slower, Matt Priestwood. But and for third, here comes Anthony Seddon. Big dive up the inside. We didn't see him out yesterday in the 116s. And Peter Keane had to give him the inside line there, but that means as he went wide at Druid, he has the inside line for the next corner, Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, that was the wing mirror preserver line, wasn't it, that Seddon decided on and stayed out of it. Now he's coming back on the other side, coming towards Surtees. Won't go past into Surtees, but this is where you need to be conserving momentum, getting on the power really early for the drop down over the camber. And then the rise up onto that plateau at the top of the Brabham Straight here.
This battle was allowing the top 2 to get away. They were 3 seconds ahead. Priestwood's done a 60.1 now, which I think might well be a new lap record. On full tanks of fuel, and 2, no refuelling in this category. They're the leaders, they are together, half a second between Highcock and Priestwood. They're 5 seconds clear now of the battle between Keane and Seddon. Waring's up to 5th, then Hopkoff, Lopez and Hall, they're all in a little dice. Down into Graham Hill Bend, they're the leaders then, so there's Matthew Highcock and Matt Priestwood, both youngsters. Gap back to Peter Keane, who still has Anthony Seddon climbing all over the back of him. He's on the inside now, through Surtees, he hobbles over the curb, and Anthony Seddon's done it. A lap ago he was trying to grab 3rd position, he's got through now though. In the Anthony Seddon racing car, there's a couple at least in that livery. But this is sort of turned into a 5 cars pretty close, with James Waring, Simon Hopkoff, Lopez and Ethan Hall all closing in as they complete 7 laps. They're the leaders, closest they've been all race. There's not much to choose between the pace of Matthew Highcock and Matt Priestwood, so the strategy is going to come into this, but perhaps more, or just as importantly, is the lap traffic, Marcus, and we're a few laps away from that.
Yes, and you heard Sean Trainer after the last race say that he was luckier with traffic than the guy he was chasing down, and this can easily add a couple of seconds to somebody's lap, or compress a gap to the next group. It's a nice shot. Is that the Clodhopper racing car? I think it is. There's a touch there, and that's in the gravel. 34 finds himself off in the gravel after that touch, and he's sunk. It's going nowhere.
That's Toby O'Reilly. He shares with Lewis Tyndall today. Well, he was due to. The leaders are right together, but I think we may have an interruption with that car there. The car might be able to come back when it gets dragged out the gravel. No, the pit window is not yet open. It doesn't open until 15 minutes in, but when the window is open, there is no stops under safety car conditions like we have now. Flag and safety car boards. As soon as the safety car boards are shown, the pit window will shut, or the pit lane will shut for mandatory stops. 2 stops for all during the course of this race. So we didn't get to any lap traffic there, did we? So everything will bunch up.
Yeah, and of course that's that 6.4 second cushion that Matthew Highcock and Mac Priestwood had built up, completely taken away.
That's right.
Erased.
Normally the strategy here is get your pit stops in early and stay on the lead lap, but you won't stay on the lead lap on a short track like here at Brands Hatch. It's a very different strategy to at Snetterton or perhaps Alton Park, where you can get a pit stop in and stay on that lead lap. That won't be possible here. That really adds to the strategy, and you need somebody working that out who knows what they're doing. Because when you could make pit stops under safety car, it was always best to do it then, but that opportunity is gone. Looks like the safety car's picked up Caroline Early's car, the 53-year-old from Surrey, having her racing debut today. She'll be waved through before the restart, I should think. But even the slowest car, someone having their first race today, only was 5 seconds off the fastest lap. So the whole grid, with lots of first-time racers, within 5 seconds, which is not too bad at all. You'll see the novice cross on the back of probably at least half the cars here. But for Toby O'Reilly and Lewis Tyndall, well, they're not going to get a result out of this in the second Anthony Seddon racing car.
There you go. There's Caroline Early wave past, and they've got the leaders back behind them. This is something that wasn't done at Snetterton last week when the leader who hadn't made his stop ended up making the stop under the safety car, which he could do with the HSCC, and effectively was gifted a lap's lead because came out and ran round to the back of the crocodile. You're not obliged to pick up the leader, it has to be said.
Especially in endurance racing, that is less used sometimes. Up to 11th from 17th on the grid is Callum Newsom, the driver who took his first TCR UK race victory 2 weeks ago here at Brands Hatch. I think he's in his 20s now. Callum is the son of Dave Newsom, former winner in the British Touring Car Championship. So Callum's got himself a drive in this today, which I think for the first time. So there's the queue of these 116 trophy cars. And one of the drivers today had a rather unusual part on their commentary form where they can say any other information. Paul Offord from Great Dunmow, his fact was he once saw me in Tesco's, which is a rather unusual thing, firstly, to put on your commentary form, and secondly, not to come and say hello. But Paul Offord, driver from Great Dunmow, apparently seeing me in Tesco's is a very exciting thing.
If that's the highlight of this week, maybe you should get out more.
Not the first racing driver from Dunmow. I'm sure he won't be the last. Alex Lynn, probably the fastest driver from Dunmow nowadays. WEC front runner. And his family have got a nice collection of cars as well, including is it Tessie, the Ford GT40 that Sean races at Goodwood and elsewhere. Anyway, BMW 116 being pulled out of the gravel, number 34. So hopefully Lewis Tyndall will get a go in this, so they're not going to get a result out of it. Lewis, another driver from Essex, on this grid.
So that car, when it gets going again, will be on its finish its 8th lap. So it will be, what, 3 laps down on the race leaders.
That's right, so we should get the safety car in shortly. And probably about the time the safety car comes in, the pit window will open.
And it's, what, 15 to
75.
75 minutes. It's a long old pit window.
Yeah, you've got 2 pit stops to make in that time. They have to be stationary for 60 seconds. And with a bit of luck, our middle timing screen in our commentary box, which isn't helpful for anybody watching at home, but it's for Marcus and I, should show us the time of the pit stop, pit in to pit out. So we should be able to see who may lose a bit of time in the pit stop, who gains a bit.
Keep a fair old watch on that.
And traditionally, TSL put it up in red if someone's done a pit stop too quick, because they will have worked out what a minute stationary is plus a pit in to pit out time.
Plus the ins and outs, yeah.
So there's the Anthony Seddon Racing 34 car back on the road. See how high they can get up. But
yeah, there was a slight brush, wasn't there, that kind of destabilised that car going up through Surtees towards McLaren Clearways.
Melissa Bexley's dropped a long way down. She qualified 13th in the wet this morning, but she's dropped to 26th after qualifying so well, the driver from Sunderland. Safety car's in. Car's accelerating up towards a green flag at the line. A good restart for Matthew Highcock, so he's got a slightly bigger margin than when the safety car come out, but for Priestwood, he has got the whole field much closer than before. Look, the back of the queue is still coming down the Cooper straight while the leaders are at paddock. Such is the size of the grid. Seddon there in third, then Keane, then Hopcroft Lopez, who got past Waring before the safety car. And we're coming up to 15 minutes now. On the dot, the pit window opens. Is anyone going to make use of this immediately and come in as soon as is possible? Or are they just going to carry on for a bit longer? Obviously, if you've got a car with 3 drivers, you're more than likely going to share the driving time between the 3 of you. And then if you've got 2 drivers, you've got to make a decision. Do you switch drivers at each stop, or does one driver do a double stint? It's all a bit more obvious for those single-driven cars, as the top 5 are. They will come in whenever is convenient, I suspect. And the pit siren goes off. And the first car to pop up on our screen is 888, David Hudson, in Jeff Still racing car. Jeff Still's run plenty of endurance races in his time. So is that the right strategy, I wonder? David Hudson, I think, was 18th when he came into the pits, and Melissa Bexley also has come in too. She was about 10 seconds further back. There's Callum Newsham. He's just got past Matt Allen. Although Allen's going to fight back massively late on the break. Sneaks back ahead of Newsham. That was quite a move. Not sure if Callum Newsham saw that coming. Meanwhile, just ahead of them, Peter Keen's lost 2 places as Simon Hopcroft-Lopez is followed through by James Waring to move ahead. So Keen, who started 3rd, has dropped to 6th.
Yeah, you wonder whether that's just running round behind the pace car for a couple of laps. Just is that Keen coming in?
I think the leader was as well.
Ethan Hall's coming in. Clodhopper racing car, I think, is in as well. There is the South African liveried car that got bingled down one side. The other side is not quite as immaculate. For David Hudson. Nigel Greenshall's name on the side of it, but he's racing at Road Atlanta in the States this weekend.
Nigel's busy. I wonder if we'll see him out though during the course of the year. So there's about half a dozen cars that came in there, including 3 from the top 10. The race leader being the most important, 555 Matthew Highcock, but 151 Keen also in, as Margaret suggested. 25 Hall, the other front runner to come in, Ethan Hall. And such was this train that we had. Darren Constant, who I think had a mistake on the restart, he's gone a lap down now in 42. So he's been snuck past by Mac Priestwood. He's trying to make hay now while he has a bit of clear road. More cars peeling into the pits. And immediately we can see that David Hudson's pit stop was 4 seconds quicker than Melissa Bexley's. 1 minute 32, the first effort. Pit in to pit out. 252 tried to get away a bit sooner than it ought to there, so it had to come to a stop again. That is the car that's driven solo by James Dunn. So as Matthew Highcock's got out with a quick stop. 1 minute 29, pit in to pit out, which is quicker than Peter Keen's effort by quite some way, 5 seconds quicker. So Peter Keen's lost out to Matthew Highcock. Meanwhile, on the circuit, 220. There we could see Neil Fox was doing battle. And he is in 7th position. Behind him, 232, Jonathan Baker. And number 33 is having a stop-go penalty that's just come up from race control. That is the Sean Yoden and Simon Yoden car. 30-second stop-go penalty for an unspecified reason. Is that a car that's pitted? It's not, is it? So it's not a pit stop infringement. I wonder if it's a car that passed someone before the safety car line. And that will cop a penalty. Car with a novice cross on it. 188.
That was Redfern and Perra, wasn't it?
Yeah, Newsham's got another place. He's got past 10 now. Lewis, White and Taylor. Oh, this is quite feisty.
That was at least 2 hits there.
82 was the one doing the pushing.
The aggressor.
Mark McCullough started that and he's still in it. He was 12.
By another one. Oof.
That wasn't on him though, was it? That was because he got past. So 247 is being attacked from all angles. That's Tim Allen.
Clodhopper Racing.
Oh, Tim's in his first race. He's just been hit at 2 corners. He's 19 from South Yorkshire. Tim Allen, who was being attacked from all angles. No one's beaten the Highcock pit stop, 1 minute 29.4. So not just quick on the circuit, the team good in the pit lane too for Matthew Highcock. He is currently in 28th position, 9 seconds ahead of Eve. He's back in again. Highcock's in for his second stop already. So that's the strategy. There he is on our screen, the flat-out media car. The team there are electing to do 2 very early pit stops. Is that the way forward here? So he's been in there for 30 seconds so far, so it'll be a bit longer yet. So at this point, Marcus, you can't really afford to have any issue where you just need a quick sort out in the pit stop.
Exactly. If he makes his 2 pit stops within the first, 20 minutes of the race or whatever, then nothing's got to go wrong at all, and doesn't want to be stuck for numerous laps behind a safety car. But then again, if he's made his 2 stops and there's no stopping under a safety car, then it's not home and dry, but it's an interesting tactic.
We've had a quicker pit stop, a 1 minute 27. The car's gone off. Number 8 is that. That's the Grimes and Turner car. And instead of driving through the gravel, making sure they don't get stuck, reverse gear on that runoff and then find first again and carry on. But yeah, 1 minute 27, the fastest pit stop now. And that's also a car that stopped twice, 252, James Dunn. I think he's probably made his 2 pit stops on his first 2 chances. Race leader into the pits, Mac Priestwood. So Anthony Seddon claims the lead. Highcock's second stop was quicker than his first, so 1 minute 28.5. So it was a second or so quicker than the first attempt. So these 116 trophy races can be quite confusing to follow, but if everyone's going to get their 2 pit stops out of the way before 1/3 distance, there's Priestwood in the Spray Tech car. Tyre pressure's being checked, and now mechanic is he changing the damper setting possibly there? Put an arm under the left-hand side, and now he's doing it the same with on the other side, Marcus.
Yeah, that'll be a couple of twiddles on the GAZ shocks.
Good shot there from our pit lane camera operator to show us that. So Highcock's first stop then was a 1:29. So is Priestwood going to beat that? I think we've had 3 cars now that have made 2 stops. Oh, the car that was just off is back in again, the Turner and Grimes car, to make their second run through the pit lane. So Priestwood, first pit stop is slower than Highcock's by 1 second. So a net second gain for Highcock, but we're not going to see that play out on the circuit yet because he's already making his second stop. Watching 55, this is the car that had the big bash at the start of yesterday's race, and you wouldn't know it, would you? It's got
a new bonnet, it's got new front wings, and they've done really well to get that out. It's not fully liveried, but apart from that, it's race ready, which is great.
That was the Barlow's car, Lewis Charlton and Jakob Nowak. There it is, 55. Anthony Seddon, who had become the leader, is into the pits in 5. So that means Simon Hopcroft Lopez leads in 3:20. Callum Newsom up to second in 1:88. James Waring third in 2:28. Fourth is 10 Lewis White and Turner. Fifth is 2:32 Jonathan Baker. And sixth is 73 Tio Tibbets. And already 2/3 of the grid have made at least 1 pit stop. Quite remarkably. It feels like this, over the last 6 months, everyone's had a thought about how the strategy works. Let's have a look at who won races last year, and the ethos seems an early pit stop is the way to go. 103, one of the many DTO Motorsport cars in the pit lane. Sammy Walton and Steve Lloyd part of this. Sammy having his first race today, 40 years of age. Steve is 55. Also new to racing, but has done some karting. There's Peter Keane squeezing past 83. The triple-driven car. Jez Banks started it. He's still out there, so that was unlapping himself for Ethan Hall and Peter Keane. So Hall got past Keane in the pit stops, and they are now in 16th and 17th, but they are behind Mac Priestwood by about 10 seconds. So Priestwood, a faster pit stop and faster on the track, has pulled out a gap to these two. Is that a black flag going out?
Black flag for car number 33.
Oh, that was the one that
33.
The one that had the 30-second penalty. That was some time ago, though, so it hasn't pitted since then. 3 abreast into the hairpin. And still involved in this is Tim Allen, the one who was being bashed about earlier. He's getting. I mean, he's going to get 2 places at Graham Hill Bend up the inside of the pair of them. This is his first ever race, Tim Allen, sharing with his father Jim. Well, he got one of them in for sure. He got himself ahead of Neil Anderson with a ballsy move. Simon Hotcop Lopez in the pits now, who was the leader. So that means Callum Newsom leads after starting down the order, but he's had so many cars pit.
The 33 car that was black flag was the Udan car, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah, and that's in now.
Yeah.
Oh my word. There's about 7 cars occupying clearways all at once.
You can certainly see the Hudson car with the South African flag down the side of it.
And behind him is Highcock, who might end up winning this, but at the moment he's 33rd. And in huge amounts of traffic into Paddock Hill Bend. Melissa Blexley's at the front of this queue. Daniel Scott in the other repaired car shoots between her and one coming out of the pit lane. You can see a little bit of scuffage on the back of Daniel Scott's car, but that car in pretty good nick, considering it got rear-ended earlier. There's Highcock then, who led the early stages. He's on the inside of David Hudson. 2-3-3 ahead. That's Ayrton Redfern, who started that one. You sort of take it one at a time, Marcus. Matthew Highcock trying to get through this queue of a dozen cars.
It's just be patient. You just got to be patient and pick them off as you can. Highcock still down in the lower order. Of course, he's made both of his stops. One of 5 competitors or teams to do so.
So thanks to Colin Mann, now we know why the back flag went out to the Udens. So the original penalty was for the passing before the safety car line, which then they came in, but they didn't go to the penalty box. They went to their pit box instead, so they had then a second penalty for that. So that is why the black flag came out. 2 more cars in, including James Waring, who's had his first stint in an endurance race. Had some sprints yesterday. He's sharing today with Simon Waugh, who has raced in the Focus Cup in the past. There's that car. Looks like they may have had a driver change, so Simon Waugh getting in. 55, that Barlow's car is into the pits.
It's Warringham Street, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I hope that was more dramatic than it actually was.
Lots of screeching of brakes for the Andersons.
Yeah, apologies, I read the wrong line on my sheet. Yeah,
Warzin with Baker.
Matty Street leading with Waring. The Andersons are switching over, so Connor will have a go.
20 seconds.
Team counting down that pit stop time. So when you have to change drivers, you do have to do it pretty quickly. Bit of work going on there for the Waring car. There's Callum Newsom, the race leader. Raced minis in the past as well on the Toka package. Sharing James Hone's car, perhaps giving him a bit of coaching, I suspect. Turns into 30s, up the curb. I suspect Callum's probably had to get his head around this, Marcus, because racing, a 350 odd brake horsepower TCR car on slicks a couple of weeks ago is going to be nothing like driving the BMW 116 today.
Yeah, but he's a lot of mileage over the years, lots of different cars. It's probably a car to him, and it'll take him a minimal amount of time to get on top of it. There's the Snee brothers, two of whom have had their race debuts this weekend, Damien and Dan.
Dan started the race, so he's done his stint. Exactly on half an hour, so sharing between them.
Another Jeff Steele run car.
They started 39th, and in his first ever race, Dan Snee got up to 7th. Okay, about 30 odd cars pitted, but that's okay. He's got through his first stint.
And that's Papa Snee, who was in the pit lane, Jim.
One of the DTO cars is broadside off the circuit at Graham Hill Bend. Yellow flags are out. Now finding gap in the traffic here to get back on the road could be challenging. We've got our first red pit stop. Is that the penalty car anyway, so it would be quicker than the time.
Yeah, that's the 33 car.
Yeah, so that's a red, but we know why. So that's not a mandatory stop, but a penalty. The 105 cars got back going, so that's good news for Michael Lavery and Kyle Fenton. Kyle Fenton had started it. Daniel is an oil broker from Bedfordshire in his first ever race today. So the leader is 188 Callum Newsom, second is 10 Lewis White and Turner, third is 232 Jonathan Baker, fourth is 247 Tim Allen, and fifth, the only other car that hasn't pitted yet, is 82 Mark McCullough. Everyone else has stopped. Matt Priestwood is in for his second stop at the moment, so this is important. Anthony Seddon in 5 is the best car to have made one pit stop. Simon Hopcroft Lopez, 320 is 7th, also have made one. 8th is 151 Peter Keane, 9th is 25 Ethan Hall, and 10th is 220 Neil Fox and Andrew Partridge.
What, as Keane and Ethan Hall still having a good tussle with 247 behind them. That's the Allen car, isn't it? What this will do, with Priestwood's making his second stop, it'll give us very quickly a position relative to Matt Highcock.
That's right. And we'll find out how that all came out in a moment's time after we hear from... we won't be hearing the pit lane just yet. Kieran's just queuing up an interview, I think, so we'll catch up with him in a moment. So perhaps we'll see how Matt Priestwood's pit stop is going. He's just being pushed out of his box now. So where is Matthew Highcock in relation? I wonder. Highcock 29th in the race. And here he comes up to the line now, and he's going to be ahead of Priestwood by maybe a couple or 3 seconds. So Matthew Highcock, our leading double pit stopper, and he's
half a second over the timing line, but of course at that point Priestwood's still in the pits.
And he set the fastest lap while doing it. Down the pit lane though, I think we can now hear from Kieran right now.
I'm down here with the Jeff Steele outfit for the 333 car, and Ben, you've just got out of the car. How was your stint?
It was amazing, I have to say. That was in fact my first ever race.
First ever race?
Yes, my first ever race, yeah. I started dead last, and I think I managed to pull back a few positions, so I was quite happy with that.
How are you finding the traffic management?
Well, yeah, I haven't got a lot to compare it with, as it being my first race, but yeah, it's exciting, incredible stuff. Yeah, loved it, loved every second. I'm sharing it with my 2 brothers, so we're loving it.
Excellent. And how are you finding the competition as well?
The competition, very steep. Yeah, there's a lot of very talented, much more experienced drivers here today, so I'm just lucky to be with them. Yeah, it's good.
Obviously, with it being your first ever race, how are you finding the whole experience of being the driver?
It's amazing, yeah. Everything I hoped it would be. I'm glad it stopped raining, though, because that was a nightmare.
Absolutely, absolutely. And where do you think you're aiming to get to by the end of the race?
Well, that's me done. My 2 brothers have got to go now, so I don't know. As long as we're better than dead last, I'll be happy.
Excellent. Well, good luck for the rest of the race then.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I'll head back up to you guys in the commentary box.
Good to hear then from Dan Snee after his first ever stint in a race, and he got through it without any dramas that we saw, and he sounds like he enjoyed himself, which is good to see. So leading is car number 10, which is Lewis White and Turner. Second is 232, Jonathan Baker. Third is 247, Tim Allen. Fourth, the leading car to have stopped 320, Simon Hopcroft-Lopez. Fifth, Callum Newsham, who has just pitted, potentially to hand over to James Hone. Sixth is 151, Peter Keane. Seventh is 25, Ethan Hall. Eighth is 220, Andrew Partridge and Neil Fox. Ninth is 86, Pete Brand and Martin Brand. And in 10th position, 228, is James Waring and Matty Street. So the best of the two stoppers, Matthew Highcock, in 555 is 26th, and Anthony Seddon, who's just pitted as he came out of the pit lane, was only 4 tenths behind Highcock, and that's roughly what you said Priestwood was, so those two should be pretty close.
Highcock's now 4 seconds down, but that was crossing the line. That was the gap, because Highcock was still in the pit lane, and I guess Seddon was still in there as well.
The car with nobody in it, that's never a good sign in the motor race.
105.
That's the DTO car that was off at Graham Bend 5 minutes ago. Right, so across the line have gone Seddon and Priestwood, and Seddon's ahead, so Anthony Seddon in the pit stop have got past. Damage, perhaps, Marcus?
Yeah, damage to the rear wheel arch on that 105 car.
And part of the... Oh, there's a tyre mark on the wheel, isn't there? I thought it sort of blended in with the tyre, the black mark there.
It's been kind of bingled all the way up the side, I think, is what it boils down to. But Highcock, Seddon and Priestwood are very close together. Seddon currently 3.8 seconds adrift of Highcock, but with Priestwood, is Priestwood moving up or Highcock? Let's just reset.
Yeah, just got past.
4 seconds to first second, 0.2 second to third.
So there's Highcock just gone through your
Highcock.
screen, and here's the battle for what is second in reality. Matt Priestwood has got ahead of Anthony Seddon. He was a quarter of a second behind at the lines and must have made that move into paddock on lap 32, which could well be for second place come the end. And I think we're going to hear from Kieran. Let's see what he's got to tell us.
Oh, sorry about that. So trolley track going past me, I couldn't quite hear the cue there. So we've got 105 in the pits for DTO Motorsports. Apparently the reason that they've stopped in the pits is there's something catching underneath the car. The driver's heard it and he can't quite figure out what the problem is. That's why they've got the jack and lifting up the car now to find the problem. If we have a look underneath here, you can see they are lifting it up, and I can't see anything myself personally, but I'm not a mechanic, so hopefully they'll be able to find the problem, get it sorted and get back out as soon as they possibly can. But have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll be back out soon enough. Back to you guys in the pits.
Thanks, Kieran. I think DTO Motorsport are running 5 cars, so they should know how these cars are put together. He's already been in the pits for 4.5 minutes. Another car's been in the pits for 16 minutes. That's the Grimes and Turner car. So there's a couple in trouble, and that means the Toby O'Reilly car that's spun on into the gravel earlier has gained 2 positions at this stage.
Grimes and Turner, they were the one that was stopped up at the top at Clearways. The 3 cars out front are the 3 that have yet to make a pit stop. And we have 51 minutes to go of the 90, so we're rapidly closing on half distance.
Yes, they're all the double-driven cars, so I suspect the first driver's doing a single stint, and then maybe they'll switch over at this pit stop, and the other driver will do a double to the end to make up a similar time to one in total. Matthew Highcock 24th now, but he's being caught by Matt Priestwood. The gap 2.9 seconds. It was 4. So that is coming down, it would seem. So we'll see if we can pick up 555 at any point, because that is the although it's in 24th position, it is the leader in reality. And is he in huge amounts of traffic? He is. So right at the back of this group, or pretty much at the back, is Matthew. Oh, that's that's the 320, isn't it? Apologies. Similar livery there. And it's free abreast in front. My goodness, what a time to have a look at this. And Simon Hopcroft-Lopez is driven through the middle of all of them. Meanwhile, I suspect Callum Newson's still in the 1:88 because he's just at the fastest lap of the race. A 1 minute .114, which is a new lap record, I believe, in 116 trophy competition. But there is 555, so we've found it, the other BMW M liveried car. In 24th position, but it's pitted twice and is the leading of those to do so. 2.4 seconds ahead of Mac Priestwood. So the car not directly behind it, must be the one behind that. There's Mac Priestwood. That's the gap to monitor over the course of the next 50 minutes.
And there's one car between them on track, isn't there? So, and traffic ahead for Highcock. 2 cars. That's the White and Turner car that was leading. So only one car gets to stop, and that's Baker and War.
Yeah, so car 10 then in the pits. Lewis White and Turner shares with Paul Whiten. Highcock there is the through the compression of paddock, where the just a puff of smoke, I think, as the tyre hit the bodywork. Up the curb through True Edge's Highcock. He's got 2 cars ahead of him who are battling for a position and just switched around. That's out of a 7th place between the Fox and Partridge car that just lost out to the Waring and Street BMW. So how easy is it going to be for Highcock to get through? You can just see Priestwood in the background. The gap now 2.8 seconds. Highcock quicker on the previous lap. 2-3-3 in. That's Ayrton Redfern and Gianni Perra. We share that one. Perra from France, another international driver to add to our list this weekend. At least 6 or 7 nationalities. A tyre change being offered up there. That's not planned. That will take longer than 60 seconds. There's been one car that's just sort of driven through the pits. I'm not sure if that was a penalty or a mistake. For 247. It would seem 23 seconds in the pit lane on one of our screens. Yeah, and it's come straight back in. I wonder if he missed his pit box. Tim Allen sharing with his dad Jim. So Jonathan Baker now leads by over a lap. There's a touch there into clearways. Anderson machine, I think that age 47, that's got sideways, and still Highcock hasn't got past him, if that's him there still. Or is it the other? Yeah, because there's Priestwood, who can't get past another car himself. So this is the thing with a one-make grid of a big grid of cars, almost
Up
4
the
cars.
outside, the bonnet's flapping on the Highcock car. It looks like the clip's broken on the driver's side.
Has he made contact with somebody? Let's see if we can get a closer look at that.
Yes, the bonnet clip is up, you can see.
And because he's made his 2 pit stops early, if he has to come in, he will lose time. That is the concern about making an early stop. He is in 19th now, 2.6 seconds ahead of Priestwood. Seddon has dropped a little bit further back. It is so hard to make progress through the traffic here. And Kieran is busy down in the pit lane, and he's found somebody else.
I'm down here at JC Motorsport with Ayrton for the 233 entry. You've just got out of the car. How was your first stint?
Yeah, it went really well. I felt like we were moving forward a lot. I had one issue into paddock, and then literally 5 minutes left of my stint. I think we were about 4 wide through clearways, and I get a flat rear right, I believe it was. So I just had to nurse it home a bit. Yeah, I just tried to go forward as much as I could. And yeah, it's hectic out there. There's a lot of cars.
Yeah, so how are you finding the traffic management out there?
Yeah, traffic management's pretty good. I personally come from karting, where driving standards are a lot lower. So it's nice to see the respect given, and overall, Yeah, it's just really great racing out there. You know, everyone's racing hard but cleanly. So it's a great championship to be a part of.
Absolutely. And who's your teammate that's out there now?
Gianni Pera, he's going to finish off the race for us and bring it home.
Excellent. And where are you aiming to finish the race, do you think?
I don't know where I came back in, but we started 24th. I knew we were up to mid-pack, so, well, more further than mid-pack, 15th-ish. If we can just bring it home in one piece now, I think it'll be a good result.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Good luck for the rest of the race then.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much. And I head back up to you guys in production.
Thanks, Kieran. Good to hear there from Ayrton. I think it's new this weekend about the driving standards. But it's a big old grid and lots of inexperienced drivers, but everyone's doing their best to avoid bumping into each other. We've seen a bit of contact, but nothing too drastic.
It was Ethan Hall's bonnet that came up yesterday, wasn't it, in qualifying for one of the sprint races. And this one has been dislodged. It's that plastic clip that holds the bonnet of Matthew Highcock's car down. Doesn't seem to be any danger of leaping open, but it is flapping on the driver's side.
Peter Keen's made his 2 pit stops, but they were a bit slower than the leaders, so he's a bit further down the order. Another driver change and a thumbs up, another happy driver. That's Jonathan Baker out of the lead car. So Simon Waugh, who regularly races Fords in the Blue 10 Installations car. And he's not the only one into the pits, because the pit klaxon goes off as 102. James Allen and Sean Frey have pitted another of the DTO cars. And their BMW 116, so we're a couple of drivers from London. And away goes 232 then. Back into the action. There's David Hudson, I think. Is that the 188? Oh no, David Hudson, 888, isn't he? Apologies. 188, that's the leader. Apologies. So that's Callum Newsham, who's 5.7 seconds ahead of Simon Waugh, who's still getting up to speed. You can tell that Callum Newsham comes from touring cars. He was right on the edge of the gravel trap as he turned his way through without putting a wheel in the gravel. He's not seemingly going to give James Hone half the race, because we're into the second half now. Wonder if James has looked at this and thought a good result could come out of this, with Callum doing a long stint to start off with. This potentially is going to be another car we need to buy into where it might end up after the 2 stops. Its first pit stop, 188, with 1 minute 38, I think. So it was 10 seconds slower than the quick stops. So that's not going to help it, I don't think.
The top car on the list that shows us making 2 stops is Ethan Hall. Is he currently still in, or is he back out again?
He's still in the pit. So 25 has been in for 55 seconds. So another 30 seconds or so, and we will see where he slots in. So Highcock, who was the top 2 stopper, is coming out of clearways.
Yeah, Highcock and Priestwood just leapt above, and Seddon just leapt above Ethan Hall.
Yes, I think Hall's going to drop quite a lot of places here. So Highcock, the lead in 2 stoppers, up to 11th. Still watching Callum Newsham on the screen, so those of you watching on 750 Motor Club TV. Bit of tank tape. That's not the first time that's been used in an endurance race before. That's the 228 Waring Street car. So that's in at the moment, making its second stop. Came in, I think, from 5th. Matty Street. And teenager James Waring. The team who are called X Racing. About to get that car back out. But already across the line's got Matthew Highcock, who's only now 1.9 seconds ahead of Mac Priestwood. I think this gap started at 4 seconds. It's been halved in the last 20 minutes or so. 86 is in. Peterson, Martin Brand, switch drivers. There's not many more that have got to make their final stops. Less than a dozen, I think.
Anthony Seddon in third place of the two stoppers is only 4.4 seconds adrift of Mac Priestwood, who is 2.8 behind Highcock.
And only another 4 behind Seddon is James Dunn, who's got on with his business. He was the one that made those 2 really early pit stops, even earlier than Highcock did. There's the Snee brothers just flicking through our shot at the back of this group.
Yep, that's Ben Snee, the historic racer in there now. That's the landman who, with Nigel Greensaw, his mentor, won the Autosport 3 Hours at Snetterton last year in very, very wet conditions.
We just head from Ayrton Redfern, his French teammate, Gianni Perra, at the wheel now. There's Mac Priestwood. How close has he got to Matthew Highcock? There's the gap. There's a car between them, which is actually a lap ahead, because that's Paul Whiten and Lewis Whiten-Turner.
Yes, that car's running second overall, the red car, currently, but I say only made one of its 2 stops. The Newsham and Hone car, that's back in the pits for its second stop.
Yeah, so James Hone is going to get almost half the race. So that means the car that was between Highcock and Priestwood is now the leader. Lewis Whiten-Turner and Paul Whiten. Car 10, the new leader. There it is, the red car. But Matt Priestwood would like to unlap himself here. Because, of course, if a safety car were to come out now and pick up the leader, that would split Highcock and Priestwood by almost a lap, which would be quite a big drama there. There's Seddon, who's the third of the cars to have pitted twice. This sort of middle third of the race is can be quite confusing to follow. So can Priestwood here get past the 10 and unlap himself, which is crucial at this point.
9 cars have yet to make their second stop.
And I think Priestwood's done it. So he's up to 8th and back on the lead lap. Callum Newsham's handed over to James Hone.
Yep, the JH Racing car is out. Now, clear view of the lead car, effectively, of the 2 lappers.
2.6 seconds, the gap between them.
That's Matt Highcock, who is up ahead.
Oh, somebody's off behind us in the commentary box at Graham Hill Bend.
And that may be stuck in the gravel, because it's rear wheel drive car in the gravel bed.
If our camera that we're looking at the moment...
He's got going, that's good.
There it is, just in the background of shot. Just rejoining. It's the one that just spun at Graham Hill Bend on the exit.
That's the silver car with the... is that the Gianni Perra car? I think it may well be.
Looks like it, yeah. So his teammate didn't want any dramas. They've just had a drama. Someone that's just come in from the pit lane is Callum Newsom, and he's down with Kieran in the pits.
I'm down here at JH Racing with Callum Newsham. Callum, you just got out of the car. Obviously, this is a bit different from what we normally see you in. Normally see you in TCR. But how have you found the BMW so far?
Oh, it's amazing. I did about 5 laps in quali. I've never driven a rear-wheel drive car before as well. But yeah, no, just about 45 minutes out there now. And yeah, it's so fun, super fun. I'm really enjoying it.
How does this car compare to your normal TCR?
There's not a lot of grip, and it's quite a bit slower. But no, you still got to push. Still got to be fast. So yeah.
And who's in the car at the moment now?
It's James.
And where do you think James can get you towards the end of the race?
I don't know. Hopefully, maybe top 5. I think I don't know where we were in that one, to be fair, but maybe top 5, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, good luck for the rest of the race then, and hopefully we'll see you in that top 5.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. And back up to you guys in the commentary box.
Thanks, Kieran. So James Hone, presumably the boss of JH Racing, at the wheel of the car now. It did drop down to 15th, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 of the cars to have made all of its pit stops. There's the Whiten-Turner and Whiten car. Second is the South African, David Hudson, another of those internationals in the race. He's done a decent best lap, a 1 minute point 6, only half a second off Callum Newsom's best.
Oh, for sure, he's quick. And that top 4 or 5, 4 of them haven't made their second stops yet. One's just come in from third place. That's the Baker and War car in again. And looks like the Charlton and Novak car is also in to make it second stop.
Snee brothers may be about to go down another lap. Meanwhile, there's David Hudson in second position, the 49-year-old, originally from South Africa, lives in Surrey now, in his second season in this Jeff Steele Racing prepared car. Looking great in the South African flag livery. Bit scuffed on the left-hand side, and that was from qualifying, Marcus, where David Hudson had his...
Yes, that was yesterday, and did a steering arm and some damage to the exhaust, but the Jeff Steele Racing guys got that sorted out. Highcock and Priestwood 2 seconds apart, and they are running now in 4th and 5th places.
Matt Allen's getting a bit racy behind Hudson here. He's unlapping himself. Allen is 11th. Matt Allen's made 2 stops, and he's well up in that order. Ahead of the Newsham and Hone car, ahead of Peter Keane too, to Matt Allen in that car, the driver from Warwickshire, going well, the 40-40 car.
And he's likely to make 3 or 4 places when those ahead of him who've not made their second stop do so.
That's right. Gap is staying at 2 seconds between Highcock and Priestwood. That's not altered recently. Diamond standard flag going out for one competitor. Up the curb there for the car chasing Hudson up the hill. Matt Allen with a novice cross on the back, returning to racing seemingly after having done a bit of Legends, Toyotas, Mazda racing too. Snapping at the heels of David Hudson. Matt Allen, who was here yesterday supporting his partner Ursula Jordan in the Type R Trophy. Through clearways they go. Can't get past David Hudson on the road to unlap himself as of yet. So it's 10 that leads. White and Turner and Whiten. Second is 888 Hudson. Third is 73 the Tibbets. Matt and Theo. Theo the son. We're both in their first ever race today. Matt's done a bit of autograss. Theo's done some karting. They've been building the car together over the last 18 months. They're from Cambridgeshire. And they've come into the pits. There's yellow flags at paddock, but before we talk about that, down in the pit lane is Kieran Mugg once more.
I'm down here at Charlton Motors with Lewis. You've just come out of a stint. You're looking very, very happy with that.
I'm on cloud 9, yeah. But hang on, we got a car coming in. Let's just step back. Hang on. Needed some front runners. We don't want to get in the way.
Oh, we got very nearly hit then. But yeah, so you obviously didn't have a great run yesterday.
No, it was a day from hell, yeah. Problems from the get-go, yeah. It just, it wasn't meant to be yesterday. Big, obviously, nothing I could have done. A staller on the start there. I don't know if he selected third or first, who knows, but I ended up ploughing him through the back at 40 mile an hour. So I've got a bit of a sore neck today, you know, but we had a job to do. We had redemption, and I've just gone and put my heart and soul into that, and I'm on cloud 9, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just the 2 a.m. job that you did till this morning seem worth it now.
Yeah, the 40-minute drive to someone's garage who I don't even know. Big up Anthony Seddon and all his lads. They found a spare car. The easy option was to just put it on the trailer and go home. That's not the Charlton Motors way, though. We don't do that. I've worked too hard over this winter to just go home. So yeah, 40 minutes there. Fair dues, I forgot his name, but the lad picked all the parts off, got it for us, we chucked it in the pickup. I come back here, Jakob stripped it down, a few lads from Anthony's, and we got it back out 2 a.m. I think I got to sleep this morning. Yeah, we're in here working away. Yeah, it was definitely worth it after that stint though. I really enjoyed that. It's just, my adrenaline's just pumping.
Absolutely, and obviously clearly happy with the performance of the car and everything. You said this morning that you weren't, obviously, you know, that you kind of bent the wheel a little bit, so you were kind of driving around that issue.
Yeah, it got to 2 a.m. last night and we were like, look, we got it running, so that was the main thing. So we weren't even sure if it run after it dropped all its oil. So we got it running, and then this morning's task, obviously, the one wheel was the M3 lower arm was bent like a banana. We've got it somewhere over there. So the job this morning was, I went out for qualifying without even stringing it up. We just both completed the 3 laps just to get out there for the race. And then again, thanks Anthony Seddon for the string kit, because we don't have that equipment. I've never even strung a car up before, so he taught us how to do it. These lads here in the background, they all pointed us in the right direction. And we've got it somewhat straight. It's still a bit fruity, but it worked. It worked. Yeah, I was loving it.
And what's your predictions for the end of the race then?
Jakob, my good friend who's out now, it's his first race weekend. That's why we got the novice badge on. It's only my 2nd year in motorsport. I'm sure his nerves after that he'll be trembling, but I've done my job. I couldn't, you know, I'm rooting for him, but what will be. If he holds it, good on him, but no worries if not. I'm just going to back him now through the race, and yeah. Absolutely.
Well, fantastic to see you back out, and fantastic you're in such a good mood after yesterday as well.
Yeah, I am, yeah. It was a real downer yesterday, but yeah, I think that's just made up for it, that stint, and I can relax now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, and obviously good luck for the rest of the race then.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Cheers. And we'll head back up to you guys in the commentary box.
Thanks, Kieran. It's great to have the stories down in the pit lane. That's what endurance racing is all about. 82 is the reason for the safety car. That's the McCullough Cannon Granary car that caused it. But a bit of intrigue, because we know that if once the safety car has been called for and the safety car boards are shown, the pit window will, or the pit lane will shut. You can't make your pit stop. But 12 seconds before that, the leader came in, the Whiten Turner and Whiten car, crucially came into the pit lane, and surely that means they lost less time than they would have done otherwise, and have returned to the circuit in 8th with a couple of cars ahead still to pit. So that is his net 6th position, and a important moment perhaps there for the Whiten family. 82 is back out of the gravel. 888 is the leader. That's David Hudson, who is somewhere in the safety car train. Then in 2nd position, leading the cars that have stopped twice, is 555 Matthew Highcock, and Mac Priestwood behind him, 173. We'll have to work out how many cars are between the top 2 in reality. Then in 4th is number 5 Anthony Said, and 5th is 252 James Dunn. Puncture on that car that went off. I think the trip through the gravel has taken the tyre off the rim. 7th yet to I've not done 6th yet, I don't think. 6th is 320 Hopcroft Lopez, then 7th 40 yet to make its 2nd stop. So then the next of those to has is the Whiten family car, then Matt Allen in 9th, and then the rest of the field I think are a lap down, because the safety car did catch the leader somehow. David Hudson did get caught by the safety car, so well done to the safety car team for that. So presumably, therefore, the leader, or the who will become the leaders, are going to be right in the mid-pack, Marcus, for this restart. So this is going to get quite lively for Highcock and Priestwood.
Yes, it is, and I see Ethan Hall there as well. Where's he now? He's running just outside the top 10 by the looks of things.
He's a lap down.
He's a lap down, but he's also got a couple of people ahead of him who haven't stopped yet. There's Peter Keane, isn't it, who is in 10th place. Leader is 888.
Highcock across the line. There's one car between him and Priestwood, and Priestwood's going to get the first one immediately into paddock. So if we could stay with this shot, if possible, and look for 555. There he's out over the curve. Matthew Highcock, race, or who will become the race leader, goes between the middle of 2 cars into Druids and puts 2 cars between himself and Mac Priestwood. He's still got that bonnet flapping away. But an important move there to put a couple of cars between himself and Matt Priestwood. There's probably going to be 15 or 20 cars, Marcus. He's got to get past in this traffic.
Yeah, it's looking very busy now, and we've got, what, 25.5 minutes to go. Traffic all the way for our effective leaders, the two competitors who have made their 2 stops. Still Hudson leads on the road. 232's got a 30-second stop go.
Presumably again for overtaking before the safety car came, or they passed the green. What's going on here? It's 4 abreast and 3 of them are DTO cars.
Oh,
wow. That has ripped the bumper, or partly, off the 102. The James Allen and Sean Frey car, but that could have been a lot worse. They were 4 abreast at Clark Cove at one point.
that's really worrying, isn't it? The rear valance and bumper, yes, hanging off that 102.
We thought this restart would be busy. The Whiten family car is in all of that as well. But yeah, 232 with the penalty is the Jonathan Baker and Simon Waugh pairing, who had just been in the pit lane as well. So David Hudson, the leader of the race.
Fastest lap to, is that proper fastest lap to Newsom and Hone?
Yeah, that's from earlier, I think. Lap 35.
It's not that long ago.
Yeah, we've done 57 now.
That was in Callum Newsom's
That's right.
run, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now that bumper is going to come off, isn't it, at some point, because it's dragging on the deck.
This is, though, the fastest lap, the aim shot fastest lap. Matthew Highcock on lap number 58, a 1 minute .082 to extend his lead out to 3 seconds. A new lap record, 2 in 116 trophy. But yes, as Marcus said, you'd think this bumper won't last the next 23 minutes. If it does, it's got something good holding it to the car, because it's not very much at the moment. Down to Graham Hill Bend. Change for 5th, which in reality is 4th. A good drive this has been from James Dunn, and he has just got past Simon Hopcroft Lopez. The Allen family are in. Son Tim and Dad Jim having their first race today from South Yorkshire. Thumbs up there from the driver.
As the fuel load comes down over the last 22 minutes, then I reckon there's a reasonable chance that one of the top 2 or 3 will go sub-minute in this race.
You think so?
60.082 is currently the mark.
There's Seddon, who's 3rd in real terms, and just 1.2 seconds ahead of James Dunn and Simon Hopcroft Lopez, who continue to battle. There's Seddon then, and Hudson in, David Hudson into the pits, which will drop him back outside the top 10, I think. After a good drive, probably that safety car didn't help his matter. So Matthew Highcock is finally the leader again. It's been a lot of laps since he led with those 2 early pit stops. And the gap 3.1 seconds over Mac Priestwood. So the order, 555, Matthew Highcock the leader. 2nd is 173, Mac Priestwood. 3rd is 5, Anthony Seddon. 4th is 252, James Dunn. 5th is 320, Simon Hopcroft Lopez. 6th is the first double-driven car.
And that was a touch on the back of the 82 by the race leader.
I don't want to do too much to loosen that bonnet anymore. It's been going around with the bonnet pin on the right-hand side loose for a lot of laps now. At least half an hour, if not longer. Through Clark Curve. Still involved in plenty of traffic. And he slots ahead.
Still a two-car cushion between himself and Mac Priestwood with that bright pink livery on his car. And you'll see Priestwood There he is in the 173.
Highcock's and Priestwood really on a clear lap here, so we see what their relative pace is at this stage. In the early part of the race, it seemed Priestwood was a tenth or so quicker, but he's not set a better lap since lap 6. There's the bumper. It's in 2 bits now, but it's back with the team. Track limit penalty for the first time, I think today, 83. Jez Banks, Tom Littlechild, Elliot Bridgman have got a 5-second penalty for track limits.
They're running down in 33rd place.
Everyone's done quite well to get through 60 odd laps of racing before that has happened, I have to say. Information of it on the race control channel.
Matt Priestwood still hasn't got past those 2 cars that are between himself and race leader Matthew Highcock.
So little difference.
In fact, there's 3 between them now.
There's so little difference, isn't there, between a slower driver and the leaders. It takes a while to catch a car and then even longer to pass them. So Priestwood is on the back. That might have been Mel Bexley's car, the 31-year-old from Sunderland. In her 3rd season, she raced well yesterday in the Armed Forces Racing Challenge. She's 26th. Yeah, she's done a 1:02.0, so she's only a second a lap on that lap slower than Priestwood. That's why Priestwood's taken so long to catch. But he is falling away from Highcock up to 3.8 seconds. So it feels like going into the final 20 minutes, Matthew Highcock has the advantage. Yesterday in the 1:16 sprint races, it was Matt Priestwood who won the first race and Peter Keane who won the second. Oh, and off. Oh, it's the Barlow's car. We were hoping this car was going to get through the race unscathed. I think it might have touched the tyre wall here with Jakub
Novak, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be gutting for Lewis in the pit lane when he finds out the car's off and it's wheel spinning on the wet grass. I think it's going to get back going. Did it tug the wall? If it did, there's not much wrong with it. The team were up till 2 AM sorting it out after a huge shunt yesterday on a start line accident. But it's got going. It looks like the car should be able to continue. Oh, and this is more dramatic. Daniel Scott, the other car involved in the incident yesterday, has been involved in this. It's a novice cross car. That doesn't take many out of the equation. To which car did? Oh, it's triple three, yeah.
It's the Snee brothers. Backwards in the gravel at the bottom of paddock. And this is Damien Snee finishing, isn't it?
31st position. Is it going to get out of the gravel?
And he's on solid standing with the left wheel.
Safety cars being called. So very close to the edge of the road. At paddock. 3rd safety car period, I think, this. And this might bring a few more cars onto the lead lap now that we've had that pit stop for David Hudson. There's a safety car. It's got a couple of cars or so between it and Matthew Highcock, the leader. There's 16.5 minutes left of the race. Daniel Scott was 12th before being caught up in it. It's only dropped to 15th. The Cholton and Nowak car's back going. That's in 28th. And the Snees are going already, so this is going to be a short safety car. It's ripped the bumper off. And the safety car's come straight into the pit lane, I think. So we didn't bother catching the leader. Get back to racing as soon as possible. And it's a disaster for those who have come behind the sneeze, which includes Anthony Seddon. But here it is. Look, they can't overtake till now when the sneeze car gets out off the road. But there's a huge gap that's developed between the second place car of Matt Priestwood and Anthony Seddon in third. But lots of traffic to deal with for the top two, who are 3.4 seconds apart. Matt Priestwood there squeezing up the inside of one of the DTO cars, the 102, the Matthew Cranwell and James Allen car. The BMW 116, they bought the road car from eBay, turned it into a racer. Suspect they probably didn't have to pay much for the base model. But the gap between second and third is now 24 seconds. And Anthony Seddon's not going to be going forwards. He's got James Dunn right on his tail. So that's the battle for the podium. Everyone should have made their pit stops now as the pit window is shut. I think they have done. Anthony Seddon, though, doing the right thing, Marcus, not passing under safety car conditions.
Yeah, I think they probably took notice of what happened yesterday. Oh, and another one off.
Oh, it's gone over.
And it's gone over into the gravel.
That's at Graham Hill Bend.
At Graham Hill Bend.
It's back on all four wheels. It's one of the DTO cars, I think. So we'll try and pick this up for you. Yeah, there it is. It's 105. If we didn't see that go over, Marcus, I think we may not have known. This is Daniel Lavery and Kyle Fenton. Kyle from down the road in Dartford, part of this team. But that looked quite dramatic. But the car's fairly intact. Not very often a car goes over at Graham Hill Bend, but that small gravel trap does catch a few out when you go off sideways. And the 105 was down in 38th position before that happened. There it is, through the trees. Camera operators picking it out for us. 3 abreast here. We are going to get a safety car, though, unsurprisingly. 10 was involved in that three cars beside each other at the moment. The Whiten family car. But another safety car. That's another one in quick succession. On the whole, though, everyone's been doing pretty well here with so many cars on the track.
That was very dramatic. It's got out of shape, squirrely on the grass, hit the gravel, and the gravel did the rest.
That's right. I say, if we didn't catch out of the corner of our eye, I don't think we would have known it's gone over. It doesn't look too bad from the distance that we saw it just then. It's 13 minutes of the race to go. So the leader, 555 Matthew Highcock. Second is 173 Matt Priestwood. Third, number 5 Anthony Seddon. Fourth, 252 James Dunn. Fifth, 320 Simon Hopcroft Lopez. Sixth is 10 Lewis Whiten Turner and Paul Whiten. Seventh is 41 Matt Allen. Eighth is 188 Callum Newsham and James Hone. Ninth, 151 Peter Keane. And 10th, 25 Ethan Hall. And I reckon they are the 10 cars on the lead lap at this stage. Ethan Hall just ahead of Highcock on the road.
Yeah, and Waring and Street are the next up, so yes, that would make every sense.
And I think everyone else down to 21st is 1 lap down. And then down to 28th, 2 laps down. Had this dark cloud sort of lingering over Brands Hatch during this race, but it's not done anything yet. Quite bright, really, for this weekend. The conditions during the course of this race. Bit of blue sky opposite us. Haven't seen much of that today or yesterday. Come to that. So again, the safety car has picked up another car. I think it's James Hone who it's picked up. We'll see if they wave anybody by or not, because this safety car period is going to be longer than the last. So this will close Anthony Seddon back towards Matt Priestwood from where he was. But there is you've got James Dunn immediately behind him in the Golf car. So battle for the podium is going to be on in these final stages. And the traffic jam will almost come to a stop up the hill. We know what that's like on the motorway, don't we, Marcus, after travelling the country every weekend?
We do.
If no run to safety car period, drivers just got to be aware. Always happens at that point, at the bottom of the hill between Paddock and Halewood.
Yeah, it seems so. Might like to be in the BMW 1 Series bumper business at this point, as there are a few cars now without either a rear bumper or a front.
The car that went over has been dragged out the gravel. As it landed back on its wheels, it means the recovery process is a lot easier than it would have been if it ended on its roof.
And just under 10 minutes to go of the 90. Still 2 cars between Matt Highcock and Mac Priestwood. Our first pair.
It's almost been like that really since they both had finished their second stops.
And it's kind of wound Anthony Seddon back into it, hasn't it? Because what he lost at the previous one he's now regained effectively.
I suspect we'll only have one more safety car lap because the car's been pulled off down there on the Cooper Straight. Brands Hatch Indy circuit sort of suits this type of racing from an entertainment value with so many cars on a small track. And although they're not the quickest cars, because you've only got short straights here at Brands Hatch, unlike at Snetterton or Silverstone, it suits the cars quite well, I think. So the cars have been waved through, so Matthew Highcock's the first car behind the safety car, which should help him greatly because he's now not going to have to pass anyone else, all things being well, before the finish, where Mac Priestwood has got those 2 lapped cars. This isn't Formula 1, so they won't wave past the lapped cars between the leader and the second place car. So Highcock's going to try and make his escape here at the restart, because Priestwood can't pass anyone till the line. So the safety car will come in. There's 8 minutes. Oh, safety car won't come in.
Not this time, no.
So perhaps they're going to let the others catch, are they? So we've got one long line. Not to influence those who were caught behind the safety car a moment ago. Guess Matthew Highcock's not too fussed that he's got another lap behind the safety car. After missing out on the win yesterday, he'd quite like a win today. Be pretty good if he got 3 different winners over the course of the weekend, which it looks like is likely. With in those sprint races yesterday, the first dry-ish race, Matt Priestwood won. And we did get into the 59s yesterday, actually. William Abraham did a 59.96. I guess that's the lap record for the category. But then in the wet race, it was Peter Keane who won. So Priestwood has won 1, Keane has won 1, and Matthew Highcock's going to try and be a third.
Safety car lights are off with 6.5 minutes to go by the time the safety car dives into the pit lane by the looks of things. That's 6:30 now. Yep.
Now Priestwood mustn't pass before the control line here. He was looking racy, he is racy, but penalties have been given if you do, so he can't pass until now. He's passed that green flag, and now he can start going through. Here's the battle for third. Seddon versus Dunn for a podium spot. And Hopcroft Lopez isn't far behind in all of this. What can James Dunn do here in 2:52? Anthony Seddon's been involved in this 116 trophy since it began 5 years ago. think he's been in pretty much every race. No lapped cars between Highcog and Priestwood, but the gap probably too large, Marcus, with the small differences that will be able to be made here, I think.
Yes, it rather looks that way. We're working, what, lap 74 now.
Oh, there he's sideways. There is James Dunn. He was right on the boot lid of Anthony Seddon, but he's not as close as he was after getting all crossed up out of clearways to complete the 74th lap. And there's lots of cars getting penalties here. 3 of them, and this is all again for overtaking under safety car. 10, which is the car in 6th place, the Whiting Turner and Whiting car. 33 for a second time, the Ewardens. And 104, the Lavery and Dobbs car. And they're all going to get a 49.9 second penalty, which
That's
is
draconian, isn't it? Oh, another one off the track there. But meanwhile, a 2-lap penalty for car 82 for mandatory stop under safety car.
That's the penalty that you'd get.
Yep.
That we mentioned if you can't pit under the safety car.
And that's the 82 car. Where's that sitting?
That's the one way back, isn't it? 36th.
Yep.
I think that got caught up in one of the incidents earlier. But yeah, the penalty, 49.9, is 30 seconds plus a pit into pit out. And so instead of making them do the stop-go, they are giving them the penalty at the end of the race. Lead gap down to 1.6 seconds with probably 5 laps to go again. James Dunn is very sideways through paddock. He's throwing everything at this to try and beat Anthony Seddon to that podium position. He looks quick at the moment, but he's had at least 2 big slides that I've spotted. And again, you reckon, Marcus?
Yeah, very dramatic stuff. And the Clodhopper racing car in that Golf livery chasing down Anthony Seddon. Immaculate Anthony Seddon racing. 1:16.
Dunn did a personal best last time. 60.102 seconds.
Yeah, Seddon's dived in. Oh, he's been chopped off there by, that's the Para car, isn't it? And that's set momentum, and that's going to open him to attack from Dunn. Tucks in behind, coming down past the pits. Fortunately, there are plenty of cars around, and it's difficult for Dunn to find a way past. Seddon goes inside Para. Dunn follows him through. Busy up the road.
Only 8 attempts behind Dunn is Hopcroft Lopez, who would like to buy into this battle if at all possible. Seddon right over the curbs before turning left into Graham Hill Bend. And 102 is the next car to put a lap on. The Londoners, Matthew Cranwell and James Allen, in that one. Clearways. Meanwhile, the leaders across the line to complete 77 laps with 3 to go. Gap out to 2 seconds. A better lap for the leader. 102 is the DTO car without the rear bumper now. And Seddon slices up the inside. Sideways again for James Dunn.
He's lost a bit of ground there because 102 is going to try and chop back across him. He's got to get up the inside, but 102 tries to close the door. And that's going to advantage Hopcroft Lopez in the Ryan Scaffolding car that's behind.
The Perra car's getting a 5-second penalty for track limits now.
You get the impression that the 252 Dunn car is pretty short on grip now.
Yeah, the cars might be lighter, less fuel, but the tyres have been working hard.
And here comes Hopcroft Lopez in the white car with the take on the BMW stripes, and he's now up into the slipstream of Dunn. Brief respite for number 5, Anthony Seddon, ahead of them.
Hopcroft Lopez is the one who's sideways this time. So perhaps nobody's got a huge amount to
got
go
a bit
at this stage.
squirrely.
Well, that's allowed Seddon to go a second and a half away. So this is the penultimate lap, I reckon. So you should do 80 laps.
80 laps in 90 minutes with 2 stops and some safety cars. That's impressive.
The lap time is so consistent, just over a minute each time. Through clearways goes the battle we've been watching. And there's Matthew Highcock then, on to the last lap, leading by just under 2 seconds. And the left-hand side bonnet pin has kept hold of the bonnet throughout the last 2/3 of the race.
Yeah, it's a little flappier than it was, but and there's something else under the car on the left-hand side, just behind the wheel arch.
A little bit of smoke as well, I think, coming from the leading car here. Not sure what it may be. Doesn't seem to be affecting him. It might have been like this for a while.
Here comes Priestwood. That doesn't look like 1.9 seconds.
Through 30s. Up towards Clearways Corner. And Matthew Highcock then is going to be the 3rd different driver to win a BMW race this weekend. And the first driver to win in the 90-minute 116 trophy for 2024. Matthew Highcock takes the checkered flag, flashes his lights in recognition of that, wins by a couple of seconds over Mac Priestwood in a tough race between the two. Anthony Seddon is 3rd, just ahead of James Dunn and Simon Hopcroft-Lopez. Matt Allen will take 6th in the results after the penalties applied to the Whiten car. I think Matt Allen is there across the line. Yep, he's ahead of James Hone by a second or so. And Peter Keane and even all of the other 2 cars on the lead lap. And most of the 40 that started are going to take the checkered flag. I think there's 3 in the pit lane, which are maybe the 3 cars that cause safety cars in this race. Everybody else is going to... Oh, we lost 4 because there's that one off the road as well. So we lost 4. 36 cars have taken the checkered flag, which is a great effort from all, with just a couple or 3 incidents during the race that necessitated interruptions. The 116 trophy will head to Silverstone in 3 weeks' time on the national circuit. Alton Park in June, Anglesey in July, Snetterton in August, Croft in September, and Donington Park in October.
Cracking season to come from the 116 trophy, the GAZ Shocks 116 trophy competitors. Thoroughly enjoying that. It was a great spectacle.
Let's have a look at the results. It was Matthew Highcock who won after 80 laps, 2.01 seconds ahead of Mac Priestwood. Anthony Seddon in 3rd, James Dunn 4th, Simon Hopcroft-Lopez ahead of Matt Allen. The first shared car was Callum Newsom and James Hone, ahead of Peter Keane, Ethan Hall. The penalised Paul Whiten and Lewis Whiten-Turner car, the last car classified on the lead lap. James Waring and Matty Street were 11th, Neil Fox and Andrew Partridge, Daniel Scott and David Hudson completed the first page. And lots of drivers who made it home. Paul Offord from Dunmo got into the top 20 before the end. And the Cholton and Nowet car, that got to the end, that got 26th. So they'll be pleased with that, I'm sure, after the 2 a.m. job.
2 laps down, considering the state of that car after its start line shunt yesterday, is a remarkable achievement.
Absolutely right. And if we go on to the next page, I think we'll see the rest of the results, including those 4 cars that didn't make it home. But excellent effort from all to get 36 cars to the checkered flag after 80 laps. And even the last of those was only 9 behind, despite some problems earlier here at Brands Hatch, which is in the best conditions we've had all weekend. And we've still got 2 races to come and go with the 116 trophy and the historic 750 Formula sandwich the fastest cars of the weekend. So we're going to have some real speed differential in a few moments. But Matthew Highcock's just done 80 laps all by himself, but he's down with Kieran, who's in the pit lane with our 116 trophy race winner.
Bit of everything that race had. Absolutely amazing once again from the BMW series. And we're going to talk to our winner, Matthew Highcock, over here. Fantastic drive, Matthew. If I can just grab you over here, Matthew, please. That was quite a tight gap between you and Max, towards the end there. It was a fantastic race. So how was it from your point of view?
Tough, very tough, yeah. Back markers were a bit of an issue today, but very tough. Max fast, and to be honest, I was driving the car like qualifying laps every lap then just to keep ahead of him. So, yeah, bit exhausted now. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. An hour and a half. That's surely got to take it out of you a bit.
Yeah. Look at me.
Absolutely. But it's fantastic to end the weekend on a high like this.
Yeah, well, I've had second, third, first this weekend. So yeah, it's been a good weekend. Yeah.
Got all of the steps to the podium then.
All over the podium. Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, congratulations on the win, and obviously good luck for going into the rest of the year as well.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers. We'll talk to Mac now. So Mac is just over here. He did his absolute best. Very, very close at the end there, but just not quite enough.
Very close. I think we had similar pace all the way through. The gap was the same. We thought safety car was going to help us, but whenever we were a safety car, we always had people in between us. So it was hard work, but very happy to come second to Matt.
I've got to say that you're looking significantly less sweaty.
Yeah.
So does that possibly give you a little bit of a mindset game towards going to the next one's like, okay, I've got the stamina?
Yeah, maybe, definitely.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations obviously on the weekend and on your second place as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I'll speak to our third place driver, Anthony Seddon. Congratulations, fantastic race.
My mechanics, they've all got a wicked shot.
Get in, everybody. Who
Result, thank you very much. It was absolutely brilliant.
And who are your mechanics?
We've got Elliot here, we've got, come on Dominic, Mighty Mouse here, and we've got Mitchell here. And they've all done a fantastic job this weekend. 2 cars on the podium, I couldn't be happier.
Excellent. And how was the traffic management for you? Because a couple of people have been saying about that.
I'm really struggling with people with blue flags, just ignoring them, just watching lap after lap where they're being flagged and they're just in the way, but there you go.
Absolutely.
I'll have a word with them in a bit.
You might have a few to go through. It's a big grid.
Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely. Well,
But great race. It was a great race. Thank you very much.
thank you very much for chatting with us, and congratulations on the podium.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're going to go to a quick ad break, and then we've got the F1000s coming up next.